I mean, I brought this question up before, with Singapore. Singapore's tax regime is very favorable for investors and foreign investors,
right,
and for trade. The taxes are so low, and they recognize gold as being a financial asset. And we were talking about the tax rates. Can you just give a brief breakdown of what is in Singapore in terms of tax?
Yeah. In Singapore, there's no GST, VAT, or sales tax for personals. There's no capital gains tax, no death tax, no import or export tax. There's no tax whatsoever in regards to bullion. There's no duty when importing, and perhaps even as important, there's no reporting requirements for buying, selling, or storing gold here. So there's no taxes whatsoever and no reporting requirements whatsoever. And it makes sense because you don't need to have any reporting requirements if you don't have any taxes. Instead, the government wants to facilitate for the market here to create job opportunities and to create added value to set up a logistics and trading hub here. So they are going the other way. They are exempting it from physical bullion from sales tax, and they are working together with the exchange to set up this kilo contract to make the wholesale market healthy, and we as retailers are also facilitated in setting up here. And I hear that the government trade agency, i.e. Singapore, they actually taking field trips abroad to try to encourage and convince different logistics companies and supplementing companies to the precious metal sectors to set up here. So they're going on road trips to encourage people to actually start a business here, which is very unique.
And I guess there's also a few other things that you mentioned as well. There's the fact that Singapore, there's an independence from the EU and the USA. Laws and regulations are quite different. You did touch on that as compared to the EU and the USA. It's just amazing how favorable they've made it, and I guess that's why you see a lot of logistics companies do set up there, as well as foreign banks that are now setting up offices there. But from what I understand from what you explained, you said that a lot of the investment in bullion is by private equity, I guess family offices, a select group. And does that mean that the normal, just the normal retail investor does not have that opportunity, or?
Oh yeah, well, that's both. I mean, we are catering to normal people. Like I said, with us you can buy 1 ounce of silver, and you can do it online 24/7 from BullionStar.com, and it's a very simple process. So we are catering to the full private retail sector, having a product width of different products, and I think the government, they have been focusing on setting up the wholesale market first, trying to encourage a lot of companies there for logistics and wholesale. But we are complementary to that. So for the private investor, it's very simple also for a private investor to buy and store in Singapore because there's no documentation requirements. With us, you set up an account. It's a one-page setup. It's easier than setting up an account with Gmail, much easier actually.
Unbelievable.
So it takes less than a minute. We just need your contact information, and you need to select a PIN number, and that's all. You can start to trade within a minute with us. So it's super simple the way it should be, and it's both the wholesale market and the retail market are covered in that way. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so I want to talk about the gold refiners now. I mean, I know that Metalla Technologies is one of the only refiners there in Singapore, and their target is to refine 150 tons of gold by 2016, and they're making it easier. The reason why is because the import of and export of gold from Australia to China, just because there's no intermediary for refinery for delivery to China. Do you think that there are more plans, or do you know of any refiners that are setting up shop there in the next few years to kind of assist with Singapore being that precious metals trading hub?
Yeah, I know there have been talks with others as well. And I suppose when the exemption of the sales tax here, the GST, came into when it was introduced in 2012, of course, the price flattened out and the price of gold and silver dipped last year. So I think it's been a bit unfavorable for the trade agency to find more refineries setting up in the light of that. But I know they're working on it, but they would be in a better position to answer that. And my suggestion to you, Sonny, would be to try to schedule an interview with them. They are very open, actually, and I'm quite sure they would actually be in a better position to answer that. So generally, precious metals companies are very welcome here. I don't know exactly if there's any concrete plans of more refineries setting up locally, but I would assume that there's many others that's going to come here eventually, yeah.
Well, given the model that Singapore has put in place to make it that easy and very open, yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised if more refiners set up there. Do you know who are the largest countries of which Singapore imports gold from?
Yeah, I did check on that actually. The import data is not publicly available. Well, it is available for a charge, so we actually had to purchase it, but I did check on it, and Switzerland is not surprisingly, Switzerland is the largest country from which Singapore imports gold, because the refineries are there mainly, and they stand for about 30% of the import. And the Asian neighbouring countries is almost at a similar level, close to 30%. So the trend of the last year has been that with the ETF and paper vehicle gold selling in the West, with the Europeans and Americans selling their ETF gold, there's been a shift of 400-ounce gold bars out of the vaults in London through the Swiss refineries, refining smaller bars, 1 kilo bars and smaller, shipping it to Southeast Asia and Hong Kong, China. And that has been the predominant trend that we have seen. So I think it's in line with that most of the gold actually, not most of it, but about 30% is passing through Switzerland.
Mm-hmm. And just a step away from this, we've been talking Singapore import-export of gold. There's actually a body called the Asian Economic Community, which is comprised of the Asian countries Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, including Singapore and Thailand. What does the formation of this community symbolize? What effect does it have on the import of gold in Singapore?
Well, Singapore is a very free trade-oriented country and is a beneficiary of more countries in the region opening up for freer, more decentralized trade. Because gold is recognized as a value-retaining savings asset in many of the neighboring countries. There's, however, problems with buying and owning gold in many of these countries. I know there's high duties or taxes or even bans on private ownership of gold in some of the neighboring countries like Vietnam, Laos, Malaysia, Indonesia. And so for the private investors and savers in those countries, it is easier for them to trade and for them to also store gold in Singapore to transfer funds to Singaporean banks and perhaps, for example, store with us. Then they can also enjoy the safety and the tax-free zone that Singapore offers. So Singapore is definitely a beneficiary of more countries in the region opening up for freer trade.
Do you think that will change with those neighboring countries in terms of their tax regime to make it more open to gold trade, or is it just not in their interest? In just your opinion.
Well, I think they have been taking the other path, other road of, trying to impose more regulation and more bans, unfortunately, on the gold trade. India is a good example of that, trying to impose duties because of the trade imbalances. So Singapore offers not only the tax-free zone here, they also offer the safety and security, which you don't find in the neighboring countries. And here, violent crime is almost unheard of. And you can come into a shop, you can pay cash, you can take physical possession, and you can walk out with your metals without any problem. There's basically no violent crime, no robberies whatsoever. And it's quite unique. If you go to any of the other Southeast Asian countries, you would be scared to walk around with gold on the street, whereas here there's no issues with it. I actually spoke to our insurance underwriter the other day setting up our new shop, and in Singapore's history of 50 years, he wasn't aware of any vault break-in in the history of Singapore. So the safety here and the security here is quite unique, and even though if the other neighboring countries would have a more favorable tax system, it would be difficult to achieve the same safety and security as you have here. And with that, of course, insurance premiums are going down, which makes it more favorable to store here. It makes it cheaper, basically.
Mm-hmm. That's a very interesting dynamic or interesting culture there. I mean, are there plans for the Singapore Freeport to expand larger for storage?
I don't know. I know that they have expanded already to increase the storage room and to build more storage rooms. So there are continuous initiatives, and of course one of the initiatives is by us ourselves, and we have opened a new vault here. A couple of meters from where I'm sitting right now, actually, is our vault, which is, we're combining the shop and showroom with the vault. So the venue we are in used to be a old bank branch, actually, and they have a old-style steel bar reinforced concrete vault, the old-style vault that you see in the movies. Mm-hmm. You have, it's full of steel, and it's a concrete walls. So we just put the 1-ton vault door on that vault, and we were lucky enough to find this vault in place already, so we can combine a walk-in store with the vault, so you can store it in the same place as you buy, which is what is unique, I believe.
With all these other companies setting up shop there, you're well on your way. Bullion Star has established itself as a very reputable dealer there. What are your plans going forward over the next 5 years then for Bullion Star?
Well, we have a quite challenging product development program. The first thing we will do this fall is that we will allow for customers that have physical metal elsewhere to transfer it in to deposit it with us in Singapore. So if you have metal elsewhere, if you have it internationally, we will be able to ship it to us and store it with us under the same favorable circumstances as if you were buying with us directly. So that's one of the first things we're setting up. But then we have a lot of product development initiatives. Already now you can go in under, we call it My Vault Storage, our Bullion Vault Storage solution. Already now you can purchase metals, and we take picture of your segregated metals, and you can see the bullion bar numbers, the security bag numbers. We upload it to your account. But we will develop that further so that you can set price limits to have automatic purchases on specific time periods. So you can purchase for a specific number of dollars, a specific number of grams or troy ounces every month for automatic ordering. So those are some of the things we're setting up, and we also can't go into all the details of the different products we will be releasing, but we will have more products and services connected to gold, but I can't disclose it all at this point in time. Don't want to give the competitors all the information right now.
No worries. Well, we'll provide whatever update you give us, and we'll make sure we'll put it on the description there of how investors can reach out to you. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Torgny, for being on the call today. That was really some excellent insight into digging deeper into what Singapore is and learning about Bullion Star itself. And any last comments before we end the call here?
Well, I can just encourage everyone to check out the Southeast market of precious metals. This is where things are happening on the precious metals market. And our website is bullionstar.com if you want to check us out. And please feel free to compare us with the competition. We should be very competitive in terms of service and prices. So, contact us anytime if you have any queries about us or about the market environment here. And last of all, thank you so much for having me, Tony. It's been my pleasure to be with you here today.
Well, we appreciate it very much ourselves. Again, if you want to get in touch with Torgny, it is at bullionstar.com. I will be providing a link in the description, and you can actually get in touch with him directly and have any questions or any queries on Singapore Gold, as well as the services that he can provide you for precious metals investments. Again, Torgny, thank you so much, and we look forward to our next interview in the next few months here.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks.